You like Huey Lewis on the news?
Hey, Paul! Ah!
Welcome back to the Mr. Negative channel. Actually, we might turn that off because I'm creepy enough without the special effects. And that's better. A little less creepy. Still creepy, just a little less. So today we are taking a look at Bat Country 400T. Now this is one of my favorite films of all time, wrapped up inside some of my favorite packaging that I've designed with a good friend of mine. And this was actually inspired by a couple of things. First thing was the old VHS tape covers when I was a kid. And then the other is my favorite train station in Germany called Wacker. And that also has multiple lines that are only slightly different in color, repeated horizontally like that. And it just gives that really cool retro look. And then when naming Bat Country, because it's a cinema film, I wanted to name it after something popular, something that I liked in cinema. Originally, I thought about some lines from Pulp Fiction, but nothing was really sticking for the name of a film. And then eventually, I watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas again, where Johnny Depp's going through the desert trying to swat bats with the fly swatter. This is Bat Country. So that's what gave me the idea for the name. And because Bat Country is a tungsten film, I'm going to shoot in the studio today under some tungsten lighting. Now, if anyone's not familiar, tungsten lighting is slightly yellow, and so therefore the film is color balanced to match that. So when you shoot under tungsten lighting, like we're going to do today in the studio, the white balance of the film will appear as daylight. And what better way to fit in with the theme of Bat Country with the horror and all of that than to reimagine some of my favorite scenes out of one of my favorite horror movies from the 90s, which is called American Psycho. So let's jump in now with my good friend Kobo. So here we are back again in my dodgy home studio, and I'm forever trying to keep this room clean. As you can see here, the width of my room is slightly too small to fit the superior 3-meter backdrops, so I have to cut them down with a hacksaw. Now, the hacksaw is actually a recent addition, as actually previously I was working up a sweat using a bread knife. And then I gave it a quick sweep to get rid of the paper dust, and then the backdrop was ready to hang and tape down. And here is Kobo warming up. So let's dive into the shoot. So the first thing I always do, of course, is to take a light meter reading and then load up some Bat Country in my Canon AE1. Alright, let's do this. So this is non-toxic, yeah, so you're not going to get... I wanted to create a little bit of smoke atmosphere here, so I sprayed in some smoke in a can. Comment below if you remember these orange headphones with your Walkman back in the day. For these next shots, I wanted to create the famous scene of the murder of Paul Allen. The fake blood I brought, though, ended up being far too thick. I tried to mix it with water, but that still didn't work.
Yeah. Or do you have toothbrush?
By this stage, I think Kobo was a bit bored waiting for me. At this point, I was a little disappointed with the blood, although it worked well for painting onto the axe. So up, like that, yeah, there you go. But then something magic happened. With Kobo moving around, the blood smudged everywhere and started to look exactly how I wanted it. Now for studio work on a white background, I prefer using my Noritsu scanner. Any slight colour cast from the Noritsu are much easier to remove than on my Frontier, which has a strong yellow cast. And a quick shout out to Gary from Film Never Die. I've still got your static brush you lent me months ago. I'll bring it back soon, I promise. On different coloured backgrounds, the Frontier looks amazing, but on white, I find I get the closest to where I want to be with the Noritsu. That's kind of cool. With the opposite hands. Yeah, that's it. All right, now take a step back. Cool, and then come over a little bit. Yeah. Okay. The trade-off with the Noritsu though is I get a much flatter image, and then I usually have to use levels in Lightroom or Photoshop to get closer to a finished image. Whereas with the Frontier, it just has that amazing punchiness right out of the box. Now this shot was very challenging. As you probably saw throughout the video, in addition to my AE1 with the 50mm lens, I was also using my Canon EOS 5 with the 24-70 lens, which gave me a lot of flexibility shooting at the wide end of 24mm in such a small room. But by this stage, the roll in the AE1 was finished, and I only wanted one more shot. So here I am, balancing my leg on the scrim and trying all sorts of stuff to remove all the obstructions and get a full body shot with a 50mm lens in a tiny room. Mission accomplished. Thanks again everyone for tuning in, and if you'd like to work with Kobo, you can follow her on Instagram and send her a message. It's Kobo in Wonderland. I'll put her details below. And just remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and show your support by shopping at Mr. Negative for some film, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.